Sean's back in Winterfell. Arya and Bran are headed that way. Dany's going to Westeros. Looks like we have a new season of Game of Thrones. Hey, I'm Chelsea.
I'm Ashley.
We drink
and we know things.
So a lot happened last season, but thankfully for us, Cersei blew up King's Landing, taking out half the characters, making this recap even easier to bring to you. So where should we start, Ash?
I'm not even sure where we should start. There's so much that happened in this season, but how about Dany, Jon, and Tyrion?
So where we left off with Dany, she's finally, after 6 seasons of waiting, headed to Westeros.
Finally. I can't even believe that it took 6 seasons for her to get there, but finally!
And she also proved herself to be a true leader last season, what with her leaving Dario behind. I think that showed a real maturity for the character, and the fact that she's willing to put the people first. And speaking of putting duty first, we got to see Dany, named Tyrion, Hand of the Queen last season. It was nice for a leader to finally acknowledge the intelligence and intensity Tyrion can bring as an ally. And just because we're talking, there's 3 dragons left. I feel like Tyrion could be one of the riders, but there's still a dragon who needs a lord. Jon?
I think it's gonna be Jon, just because of the fact we know his origins now. He is a Targaryen for sure. Dany is his aunt, so I'm pretty sure one of those dragons is gonna be reserved for him.
That is going to be amazing if that comes to fruition. Not to mention that Jon's struggling against White Walkers right now. What goes better against a White Walker than a dragon that breathes fire?
Exactly, since fire kills them, it just makes the most sense.
It's going to be interesting. And we also see Bran, who appears to be on his way back to Winterfell, which is important because he's one of the few people who can confirm that Jon is both a Stark and a Targaryen by birthright.
And he's the only one of the Starks who knows the heritage.
So it was awesome seeing Bran witness the birth of Jon. It proved he was a Targaryen, it proved he was a Stark, and it showed that he is the one key heir to the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. And on top of that, while Bran's messing around with that goobly gobbly time stuff, it showed he can affect the timeline. His dad responded when Bran said his name, and I'm wondering how that's going to play out in the future.
Another thing that proved that he can affect the timeline is the Hodor stuff.
I will never recover from that.
It breaks my heart every time.
I still tear up a bit if someone asks me to hold the door.
Right? Hold the door will never be the same.
I feel like we're only starting to get a glimpse of Bran's powers. And there's another Stark that's headed towards Winterfell.
Yes, Arya is finally on her way back home. She has done her little journey to help her murder, I guess, all of the people that are on her lovely little list.
Her list's getting shorter and shorter.
It is. It gets shorter every season.
There was something cathartic in watching her kill Walder Frey. It felt like a 3-season payoff for just the heinous act he committed against her family in killing her brother, her mother, and her sister-in-law. So Arya's killing of Frey kind of shows how the momentum in Game of Thrones is building up towards the end. Her murder of Walder Frey and feeding him his sons in a nice meat pie, it shows that the show is looking to tie up loose ends. And it kind of builds for us that we need to treasure each episode we get.
Speaking of the Starks, we have Sansa and Jon, who have recently retaken Winterfell, which I think is awesome. The only problem I have is that Littlefinger is right there in her ear.
Sansa's proven herself to be a strong character. She was integral to taking back Winterfell. She was able to use the Knights of the Vale with help from Littlefinger to ensure that Jon won during the Battle of the Bastards. And I think it shows that her character is willing to take help when needed, but she also knows to be wary of people like Littlefinger, because Littlefinger was responsible for selling her off to Ramsay and the Boltons. That exposed her and left her in a void brutalized we'd never seen before.
That's very true. I feel like everything she went through with the Boltons and Ramsay specifically, I feel like she has come out so strong, and I kind of worry that there's going to be a power struggle with her and Jon.
I don't worry about that. I do think she knows not to trust Littlefinger. And the look she gives him when Jon is proclaimed King of the North, shows that she's smart enough to know he's up to something, but she's also smart enough to know that she may not be able to see all the pieces in play. She just knows that she can never fully trust Littlefinger.
I really hope that's the case, because Littlefinger is a master manipulator.
So while Jon and Sansa are up north preparing for the battle with the White Walkers, you have Cersei down at King's Landing, who single-handedly managed to destroy the place and take out numerous main characters.
She's just up. That's all she's doing.
That Winds of Winter finale was phenomenal. We lost Tommen, we lost Loras, we lost Marjorie, we lost their dad, like we lost everyone.
Everyone in King's Landing got blown the up.
And it's incredible when Cersei's at her coronation as queen to see Jaime arrive and give her that look, just this look of devastation. Because in that one selfish act, Cersei managed to do the one thing that Jaime fought against.
So moving on in our recap, we are talking about the Faith militants now and how them and the High Sparrow got blown up in the wildfire. Unfortunately, they took some of the Tyrells with them, which was heartbreaking, but hey, you gotta sacrifice some to get rid of the ones you just don't like, right?
It was sad to see the end of Marjorie and of Tommen. I've always been indifferent to Loras. I just found him kind of bland. That's beside the point. But it was awesome to see this armed faith that worked to repress the rights of everyone in Westeros, from the lowliest peasant to the queen of the entire realm, get blown to smithereens.
It was really good. It was nice to see him pay for everything that he did. I know I was cheering as it happened while dying inside because I love Marjorie so much and her dying was just awful.
It's interesting because this epic explosion led Olenna Tyrell, the grandmother to Marjorie, to team up with the Sand Snakes, who possibly hate the Lannisters even more than she does. And I have a feeling that this combo, this team, is just going to wreck up.
It's gonna make it really bad for the Lannisters. You've got the Starks coming after them, the Targaryens are coming after them, the Sand Snakes are coming after them. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
But Cersei and Jaime are truly alone for the very first time in this show.
So we are going to kind of sound off on a few of the side characters who don't get mentioned a lot, but they're pretty important. So Chelsea, what's going on with the Hound?
End of season 5, we thought the Hound was dead. He tried a peaceful life with Ian McShane, best guest star ever. His little village got destroyed, and now he's out for blood after teaming up with the Brotherhood.
Up next is Littlefinger. What's going on with him?
Littlefinger's in a precarious position. He sold out Sansa to the Boltons, and now she's found her brother for backup. He's losing the strings he's trying to tie to, and that the Iron Throne is seeming even further away.
What has been happening with Brienne?
So Brienne finally fulfilled one of her oaths. She is an oath keeper. She helped get Sansa to safety, she got to say goodbye to Jaime, and now it looks like she's headed back up north to help the Starks.
Talking about Bronn, what's he been up to since we last seen him?
So last season, Bronn tried to help Jaime save his daughter from the Sand Snakes in Dorne. He failed, Marcella died, now he's back in Westeros with Jaime, still helping the Lannisters.
On to the Wildlings, we're talking about Tormund now. What's he got going on?
Tormund, or as I like to call him, my future husband. He has helped Jon secure his place as King of the North. He was pivotal in helping the Wildlings fight in the Battle of the Bastards, and now he's hanging out with Jon in Winterfell, waiting for his one true love, Brienne, to come back.
So last we saw Jorah, he was still trying to get back together with Dany. What do you think is going to happen with that?
Jorah, the man with the strongest jawline in Westeros, is still struggling to get back with Dany. He is devoted to her, but there's a little hiccup. On his arm, he's developed grayscale, which in Westeros, in Dorne, around the kingdoms, it's known as a fatal disease. So he's trying to get that fixed, and he's been sent on a mission from Dany to survive. She means as much to him as he does to her.
The White Walkers have been pivotal. They've been growing larger and larger since season 1. What do you think is going to happen in season 7 with them?
So the White Walkers are on the rise, and their army's only growing. For every soldier they cut down, their army gets bigger. They're moving closer to the wall, and this season looks like it's headed towards an epic battle. After the explosive finale to season 6, the game has completely changed. Half the board is gone and there's new players joining the game. The only thing we know for sure is winter is here.
So I think we covered everybody in this recap, but if we missed anybody, head to the comments below and let us know. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like our video.